Hi, my name's Tamantas, and today I wanted to show you guys a few little tips and tricks that I've learned while working on my last film. As some of you may know, I've been gone since December of 2010 to South America, and I've actually gone back since 2009 to basically finish recording a documentary that I've been working on. It's a documentary about a small town on the coast of Ecuador, and but also while there, I was traveling in the mountains and in the Amazon jungle, and while working in a remote locations, I've learned a lot of interesting things that I thought I would pass along to you. So the first thing that I'll talk about is the equipment that I used while filming in Ecuador. There's a few reasons why I chose the equipment that I chose, which I'm also going to explain. But what I used throughout most of the filming was pretty basic. My main kit consisted of the Canon 7D with selection of four Nikon lenses, 24 millimeter, 50 milliliter, 100 milliliter, and then 300 milliliter zoom lens. And I would basically put it all into my camera backpack, and then aside from that, I would carry a tripod, not at all times, but sometimes when I needed to stabilize my shots. The reason why my kit was so basic is because, as I've learned the hard way in the past, when you go out, especially to places, when you're filming where you don't know the locals, you don't know the area too much, you really do have to be, you want to try not to stand out, basically. And the second that you bring a camera and you put on a matte box on it, you set up on a big tripod, you connect big microphones or all that stuff to it. As great as all that equipment or having all that equipment is, what's bad about it is in places like in Ecuador, you do have to be more careful. I don't want to scare anybody who's maybe planning to go to Ecuador, because it is a beautiful and an amazing country to go and visit. But you do have to, I guess, it's just the same as when traveling anywhere in the world. You have to be cautious, and I did have actually one of my cameras stolen while I was there filming in 2009. And it was partially because I was basically flashing around too much expensive equipment, and people start following you and all that stuff, and then when they see the opportunity, they'll steal from you. So one big thing is just for your own safety, and also just so you don't end up getting your equipment stolen. You really do not want to be taking a lot of expensive things. So a lot of people ask me what equipment I use, and for this film it was very basic, and so all the shots that you're going to see here, they were all filmed with just a basic Canon 7D, a lens not thrown on it, and then in some shots a tripod, but that's it. Another great thing about shooting that way, on a digital SLR, is that it's a pretty common sight right now. Seeing a tourist, for example, carrying a digital SLR, just taking pictures, while on vacation. And so this way, most of the time, I was able to blend in, and people didn't even know that I was filming them. They would just think, I'm taking some photos or something, and I didn't stand out that much. So that's another great thing. Also, it's just the camera is so small and so light that it's not a problem carrying it around with you. And there were some locations where, like here, for example, in the jungle, where it's you do have to trek for long hours, or even just getting there on buses and taxis. It's not somewhere where you want to be taking big backpacks and cases of equipment. So this way I was able to take, aside from my backpack where I had my personal things, I would just have the little camera bag, and that's it. And it's it's a lot easier, and again safer and faster to get around this way. And I find that if when I end up, like back in the day when I used to do a lot of television reports, when I would end up taking a lot of equipment with me, I would actually, yeah, some of the shots maybe looked slightly better because of the equipment that I used, but I would get a lot fewer shots than as opposed to if I just simply got the basic, camera package, and that's it. Because when you're not carrying around a lot of, expensive equipment, or just, a lot of equipment with you, then you tend to move around a lot faster. It's easier to set up shots, and so on, and also you don't miss as many opportunities. The big thing about when you're filming documentaries or any kind of run and gun kind of style of shooting, is you have to keep your eyes constantly open and for opportunities to get nice shots, because you still want to concentrate on getting nice framing and composition and angles and all that stuff, but the thing is that unlike in a fictional setting, like when you're doing a music video or a fictional film, you do not have the luxury of setting up your actors or locations or props the way that you'd want them to be in the shot. So you really do have to keep your eyes open, and you have to make sure that you use every opportunity that you have to get nice shots. So for example, like these shots here on the beach, if I saw an opportunity, like here, I saw the surfer, I knew that he was going to cross in front of me, I would set up my camera very quickly, get nice exposure, and then just let the camera record. Another advantage of doing, getting shots this way too, is that since you're not working with actors, you really do not want people to be aware even of the fact that you're filming them. You can always run out to them afterwards and or have your producer chase after them and get them to sign a release form for your film. But while you're getting the shots, especially if you see them doing something that just looks interesting, and maybe they just happen to be posing for you, like this lifeguard up here, it's better to get the shot first, without them being aware of the fact that you're actually filming them, and then you can always approach them afterwards and get all the permits out of the way. A lot of times I find that if you tell somebody that you're filming them, or you ask them for permission to get a shot, that most of the time people are courteous and they'll let you film them, but they become so self-aware that they end up basically looking stiff, and they're not really acting like themselves. So that's another, I guess, good way of having this sort of inconspicuous looking camera package, where it just looks like you're casually taking pictures or something like that. Another camera that I used while in South America was this very simple point and shoot Canon camera. Sometimes it's good to get shots even with a cheap little camera like this, because it's always best it's always better to have something than nothing, even if the quality isn't all there. And in many cases, actually, when the 7D would overheat, or when the batteries would run out, or things like that, it was also just as a good backup to have with me. And like you can see up here, all these shots, these were actually filmed with that camera. So the quality is it's maybe not as good as the 7D, but it's pretty good. If you concentrate on nice framing and designing your shots, then you can still get a lot of basically you can get nice cinematography even with a tiny little camera like that. The way that I would operate the camera is because again, there's no point really of setting up a tripod for a tiny little camera like this. So I would basically hold the camera as close to my face as possible, so I can see the LCD, and then I would rest my elbows on my stomach, and this way it would just kind of stabilize, and allow me to sort of turn with my whole body and replicate almost a Steadicam. I mean, not a Steadicam, but a tripod shot. And it's obviously it's not as smooth as having it on a tripod, but again, this way it's I was able to just carry this camera as a backup, no other equipment necessary, and I was able to still get shots that I can use in a documentary. So that's it for part one. And in the next tutorial, I'm going to show you guys more examples from this documentary that I've been filming in Ecuador, and also I'm going to explain what microphones and equipment I used to get good audio while on location, and also just more tips and tricks when filming, especially when filming wildlife, and also how to avoid getting your equipment stolen by a monkey. So see you next time.